Hey all, welcome to Monday and welcome to Countdown Day here on the channel. And this one's a little bit different. This is going to be the top 10 accessories that appeared in that one episode. Maybe 2 episodes, maybe a couple more. Some people picked something that appeared in the '86 film, for example, or one of the live action films. I kept it kind of open, but the idea is that these are accessories that served a specific purpose at a specific time, probably only in one episode, maybe in a couple, especially if it was a multi-part story. It's not something that includes things, for example, that are in every episode, like Seeker's null rays, or Optimus Prime's ion blaster, or Megatron's fusion cannon, or Galvatron's particle beam, because these things are so quintessential that they kind of have to be included with iterations of that character. But certain other things kind of, you know, come out and we'll say, that's a neat little thing to have. It was from that one time in that one episode, or you get the idea, I think. Anyway you cut it, these limited accessories are going to be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot Counts Down. Hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, man, please like, comment, share, of course, subscribe while you're at it, loud, my baby. And hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, and it lets you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, The Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that in the description down below. Also in the description down below. And if you are in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. You can check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring. Or, of course, you can hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. Like I said, this is going to be a countdown of the top 10 in that one episode accessories. It might be from the films, but it's something that was used kind of very limited at a very specific time. I hope that that makes sense. I wanted to put that disclaimer out there because guaranteed we are going to have like a time on this list where something is going to come up and somebody will say, oh yeah, he used that many times, or they used that several times in such and such an iteration, and then this and that. Yeah, I think we all know kind of what we mean here when we say limited, right? The voting was pretty wild and all over the map for this one, as I expected it to be. So without any further ado, we're going to do our honorable mentions first. There are 7 this time. They all had the exact same number of votes. One of them I wouldn't really call an accessory, I would call it a character, but I'm going to mention it here because I want to kind of touch on something else that was sort of automatically disqualified as we went through. Crimzeek. Some votes came in for Crimzeek. I get it. It's an accessory, for example, that has come with some Megatrons. It's an accessory that came with the like Refractor 3-pack a couple of years back from Siege. But at its core, Crimzeek is actually a character. So I counted the votes. It wasn't enough to get on the list or anything, but it was certainly enough to get in the honorable mentions. But it was a bit of an iffy one because I would call that more of a character than an accessory. He falls, to me, very much in the same realm as Target Masters and Headmasters and Minicons. While they have been used by certain characters, they're also their own character in a number of ways. So, that being said, there is like I said, there was a little caveat there. Also, we have a Cups juice box. It's the Energon dispenser thing that he comes with. I didn't even know what it was. I don't remember it from the movie or anything. It's been shown to me since. I'm like, oh yeah, look at that. So his juice box, the solar tower that Hoist and I think it was Grapple built. I think it was actually Grapple's tower. And there was like a little model of it. So that solar tower, I think the little model actually comes with Grapple, MP Grapple, if I'm not mistaken. Hot Rod Saw, as seen in the movie. I think that was the only time we saw it. Beast Wars Megatron Shotgun. I don't remember this. It's apparently from a specific episode called The Wild, I believe. I don't remember him with it. I would have to go back and watch that, but a bunch of people voted for that. The alien mask from Hoist Goes to Hollywood. Specifically the alien mask worn by Sunstreaker. Go figure. And finally, MP Soundwave Scanner that was used at one time. in that one episode. None of them made the list. So who did? You know what we're going to do, man. We're going to kick things off with number 10 first. And coming in at number 10 is Starscream wife's favorite character, Starscream, and his crown. Now, a few people voted for the entire coordination, I guess, garb, being his cape, his shoulder things, and his crown. But the crown itself had its own individual vote. So I lumped them all together with that one and had it stand out. Starscream's crown was extremely limited, because it was turned to dust pretty soon after by Galvatron, but also extremely iconic, and so much so that there is actually a Studio Series 86 Starscream with the coronation set. Almost every version of Starscream that comes out, official or third party, comes out with like a variant that is coronation Starscream. The coronation scene was one scene, one time. He wore that crown one scene, one time, and for that reason he takes the number 10 slot. Number 9 takes us to Transformers Prime and the Dark Star Saber, wielded of course by Megatron after he takes the arm of the Liege Maximo. By the way, a few people voted for the Liege Maximo's arm. To be fair, there was one vote that came in for the Minicon Dark Star Saber, and like, I didn't really count it per se, but I certainly noted it because I was like, yeah, that's a bit of a different Star Saber. But again, in and of itself, it would be disqualified because the Minicons actually have sentience and consciousness and a personality and they're characters, right? There was also a couple of votes for the sword, the saber that was wielded in by the Nemesis or Scourge in RID 2001. I don't really remember him with it, but it makes sense that he would have it now that I think about it. But the majority of the votes for the Dark Star Saber really related to Megatron's usage of it from Transformers Prime. So everything sort of fell under that banner. It was a heck of a melee weapon. It was a heck of a sword. It probably appeared in more than one episode, but it appeared for one specific reason, we'll say. And for that reason, it takes the number 9 slot. Number 8 is another accessory that I actually don't recall seeing ever, even though a lot of people have pointed it out again to me. I don't know how I missed this stuff incessantly, but I often do. And it takes us to Beast Wars and Beast Wars Megatron's Rubber Duck. Again, a lot of people say, yeah, he had the rubber ducky when he was taking a bath. I don't remember him taking a bath. I own the series. I've watched it multiple times. It's just, for some reason, I guess I keep missing it. I suppose. Maybe it's split second. I don't know. But it was, I'll say, an interesting enough accessory that I believe a version of it comes with MP Megatron. There was an actual BotCon Collector Club, TFCon, some sort of exclusive that's just the rubber duck that they called Megatron's Rubber Duck. The weirdest thing, I saw one review on it, was like 2 minutes. It was weird. But Megatron's Rubber Ducky, yeah, I mean, it was his bath time buddy, man. And for that reason, it takes the number 8 slot. Now, number 7, I know for a fact, appeared in more than one episode. It actually appeared in a 2-part episode, and it was actually a major plot point for another series later on. What am I talking about? I'm talking about the key to Vector Sigma. We all know that this key appeared very limitedly in G1 in the episode, or episodes, the 2-part episode, the key to Vector Sigma. I think it's a 2-part episode. Might be a 3-part, but I think it's a 2-part. And we saw it there, and it activates Vector Sigma. It was also a bit of a major plot point in Beast Machines. So, like, again, I sort of get that it was used in more than that one episode, but its existence as part of the lore, its actual appearance is so limited that I still allowed it to be counted on this list. And it scored enough votes, and enough people felt the same way that it was a limited accessory, that it was able to take the number 7 slot. Number 6 is Wheelie Slingshot. Everybody that voted for it said the same thing. It was used very sparingly, of course, because Wheelie in battle was very sparing. And when it was first used, when people think of that, they think of him using it to best Grimlock in battle, so to speak. I get it. It's a weird, quirky little accessory. We have these huge, futuristic robots, and one of the most powerful of them, Grimlock, is able to be taken out by something as simple as a slingshot. It's a quirky, weird little accessory, not always included with Wheelie, but probably should be, and it takes the number 6 slot. And of course you know where we are. We are at that most coveted of locations, the halfway mark. And at the halfway mark we have one that comes in that, like, I can only recall seeing it once, but I think to myself, this had to be something that was used more than once. I'm sure it was, but I don't know how often it was used, and I'm talking about Jazz's subwoofers. I can only, like, vaguely recall seeing them one episode. I can't even tell you the episode. I would have to do more research and look this up. However, I know that it wasn't something that was used in every single episode. I know it wasn't something that was there in 90% of the episodes. It's not equivalent to, say, the null raise. It's not equivalent to the hollow emitter on Hound's shoulder. It's not equivalent to the sound cannon thing that's on Soundwave's shoulder. That's kind of sort of always there. It's not even equivalent to the blasters on Laserbeak's back, which in his bird mode are always there. I assume that these were always there with Jazz. It makes perfect sense that they would be, but I only actually remember them being used once, or maybe twice. And enough fans have that same sort of limited memory that Jazz was able to take, along with his subwoofers, the number 5 slot. Number 4, I remember exactly one time, and he had Decepticons right in his sights. I want to say it was Megatron, right in his sights, and it is Cliff Jumper's bazooka. I know that Cliff comes with it, whether we're talking about the Hot Soldiers version, whether we're talking about the Earthrise / Buzzworthy Bumblebee version, or I suspect the impending, as of this recording, Masterpiece version. It's one of those things when you think of Cliff Jumper, you usually think of him with that, even though it was used extremely sparingly. And I don't know where he stored it when he wasn't using it, to be honest with you. Cliff Jumper's bazooka. Enough fans felt it was limited enough, that it was obscure enough, and that it was used rare enough that it was able to take the number 4 slot. Number 3 comes from that one episode, and it is the Immobilizer. As a matter of fact, I'm pretty sure that the episode is called the Immobilizer. It's where it appeared, it's where it was created, it's where it ended. The Immobilizer, however, has at least come with Masterpiece Wheeljack. It has also, I believe, had a couple of third-party iterations of it. It's one of those accessories that you certainly don't need it, but if you're going to release it, it has to go paired with Wheeljack. It's the only way that it makes sense. When you have something that niche, it has to be one of those accessories that falls under the banner of that one time, that one specific need, that one specific requirement, so to speak. The Immobilizer. Yeah, it was a serious thing that made a big impact in its very limited life, and it took the number 3 slot. And now we're at number 2, and number 2 is one that, come on, it had to be a foregone conclusion that it was going to appear on this list, and it is Optimus Prime's Energon axe from G1. Optimus's Energon axe from G1. Now, some people specified G1 because they said there are other iterations of Optimus Prime where he has used the axe more regularly, but the Energon, that yellow, or that hickory, that honey? Energon axe that comes out of his hand when they're on the dam having battle, was seen in More Than Meets the Eye that one time. That's it. We never saw it come out of Optimus's hand anymore, but yet it always seems to find a way to get included with releases. So much so that it even had a version of itself released in the Centurion pack. So much so that it has come with every MP iteration, and so much so that whenever there's a third-party Legends, you're pretty sure that you're gonna get some version of the Energon axe. How can you deny that it is one of the most enduring examples of that one accessory from that one episode? And it took the number 2 slot. And here we are at number 1. And the character at number 1 actually has several that one-time accessories. He has a helmet that he used to control like a clone of Optimus Prime. If I'm not mistaken, I think that's what it was used for. He had a blaster that he used to blast Optimus Prime. But, above it all, he had an Energon mace that he used to beat Optimus Prime on a dam in G1 at the very beginning of the series that we know and love. Of course, I'm talking about Megatron's Energon Mace from G1. It's weird. When people think of Megatron, they often either pair him with a sword, or an Energon sword, or an Energon Dark Star Saber, or they pair him with his mace. It's so funny. I really expected that Optimus's axe was going to take this because it was out in the lead. And then I went to one of the areas of voting and wow, really came out from behind with a landslide victory. I get it. You know, it's a cool mace. It's a cool feature. It looks really neat. I found it more versatile and interesting than the Energon axe. I wish we had seen Megatron use it more often. When we do see it, I tend to prefer it having a more rigid chain so that you can actually pose it better. Yeah, Megatron's Energon Mace, man, it took the #1 slot. And there you have it, man. We've gone from 10 down to 1 once again. And you know what? There were a lot more accessories that were voted for than what appeared on this list. Like I said, the voting man was all over the map. Let me give you some. We had the chunk that comes with Masterpiece Inferno so that he can carry Masterpiece Red Alert. I thought that was a good one. Grimlock's apron and his serving tray. What else did we have? Beast Wars Megatron's toothbrush was another one. I don't think I mentioned that earlier. What else do we have here that could go thrown in this one? Some of it was really strange. I didn't know exactly what it was. Hound's Key to Ravage's Cage in G1. That was another good one. Polar Claw's Bat. Beast Wars Scorponok's Bee. The Star Harvester from Revenge of the Fallen. Some voted for the Matrix. I don't really get that one. The Matrix we saw many times in many iterations. And some voted for the Allspark. Again, we've seen many iterations of the Allspark. The Enigma Combination. It appeared more than once, but let's be honest, it really only appeared in the Prime Wars trilogy, and that was it. It's caught on now, though. What else do we have here? Animated Bumblebee's Turbo Boosters, Animated Prowls, what is it, like Light Post Mace thing, Hot Rod's Fishing Rod, and just to throw one more in there, Blur's Welder from the movie. So there was that. There was a lot more than that as well. There you go. Did your favorites make the list? As always, I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link and check us out on Patreon. You can see what we offer to you through Teespring, or of course hit the join button right here on YouTube and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around and have some fun with us here on the channel. Especially don't forget that somehow, some way, each and every single day, you right there, you do make a difference. And I look forward, baby, to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit. Either in the live streams on Thursday nights at the stop motion premieres or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.